What's going on, Gains Associates community? Welcome back to this live stream, restream if you're rewatching this. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. There is a lot of us in here, and we're excited to welcome you guys all and introduce you to some awesome, only the best projects in this bear market. There's a lot of different projects coming out, a lot of different projects you can sink your money and time into. There's a lot of this kind of stuff, but you need to get into the best ones, and we're here to deliver just that. If you're new to this channel, my name is Aaron. I'm on a journey to just trying to find the next best projects to get involved with, and that's why I'm involved with Gains, the Gains Associates. I just joined this year. I have a YouTube channel and all that kind of stuff, and that I'm happy to do these AMAs with them because I get to learn along with you on what are some of the best projects to look out for. And so today we have Daniel, and he is one of the founders, the brains behind a new project called StrongNode. And we're super interested in it because we've had one AMA with him before. And so we want to definitely bring him on. But look, if you are new to this channel, be sure to hit subscribe, give us a like on this video. And you could type in any of these questions because it's an open AMA. We're going to be talking about the market and what StrongNode is and a little bit who he is. Anyways, thanks so much for watching. And let me, before without further ado, let's bring on Daniel. Daniel, welcome to the channel. Welcome to the stream.
Hey, how are you guys?
Good to have you here. So Daniel, maybe before we even get to StrongNode, just grateful that you're here. Maybe just tell a little bit about of yourself, like a quick origin story, synopsis, and then we could get into StrongNode here for those of us who don't know you.
All right. So I started computing since 8, and that's pretty much what I did. I didn't play with kids. I didn't play with the neighborhood. Just went in computing and just learned how to program at an early age. From there, I started writing some programs, some good, some bad, mostly bad probably when I was young, misguided youth. But overall, it was a learning lesson and experience, and everything from starting an ISP in Japan to launching rockets into space to do broadcasting for the Japan audience, to get satellite TV, to writing interactive applications, to working on the MPEG-4 codec, and also working at NTT Docomo and designing what is currently today the trusted enclave or the security enclave in all mobile phones. After that, worked with MySQL and launched them from one room out of my apartment in Japan, and from there grew it to $1 billion business with the help of everyone around the world, as we were all working remotely. We sold to Sun Microsystems. After Sun Microsystems, we eventually sold to Oracle for $7.5 billion. And from there, we forked the code, and our CTO, Colin Charles, left. Didn't join Oracle, but instead started writing MariaDB server. And from there, we launched MariaDB as a company, and it's right now slated to go public on the New York Stock Exchange at the end of this year. Crossing fingers, knock on wood. And with that said, it's just, I've had multiple exits and multiple successes, and also multiple failures and exits that way, of course. But you try things, you break things, and if it fails, it fails, and if it succeeds, it succeeds, and you keep at it. You can't keep at it, and it's just the attempt of being an entrepreneur is always constantly trying new things and getting out of your comfort zone, and being able to provide a solution and to problems that are ongoing in the real world.
Got it. So, yeah. So basically, you started at a very young age. Instead of playing on the playground, you were computing. Rockets, Oracles, billion-dollar businesses sold. You've got security for smartphones. I'm not going to regurgitate all of that, but it seems like you have a long history of a track record of, like you said, success and lessons. And then you bring all those talents here and a lot of those connections and those your team to StrongNode. I'm sure you built out a bigger and a more robust team, but like you said in our previous conversations, that you still have a lot of those same connections with other people. So which is great. We like to see strong teams behind projects, people that don't just come here for the money grab or whatever. They're here for the project. Before we're having questions fly through here, but before I tackle any questions, could you tell us a little bit about what StrongNode is, what it seeks to accomplish, And by the way, guys, if you haven't already checked out some of the other videos that we've done or the other streams that we've done, check out on Twitter and on our YouTube channel that we have a whole nother stream, hour-long stream almost, where Daniel's answering your questions and has a lot of knowledge about StrongNode. But could you tell us a little bit about what StrongNode is and what it does?
So StrongNode strives to become the infrastructure as a service for Web3. Now, as Elon also said, Web3 is doomed to fail mainly because it's decentralized in nature. The idea that we wanted to change behind this is that we wanted to help build that infrastructure. And we do know that being able to recreate AWS or these centralized systems is very difficult. And of course, something like this does take time. And with this, we do need your support, whether if it's us buying your token, you buying our token, or actually participating in our network when we have it available. We need your resources. And what it is that infrastructure as a service is basically taking latent resources, whether it's your CPU or network bandwidth, and being able to repurpose it for the network or for the community to use. And this henceforth, powering Web3 in that sense. So what we wanted to provide is different building blocks around Web3. And with this, we've created various solutions that you can actually try and log in and access fairly quickly. Whether if it's StrongNode ID, or we have a new VPN solution that we're currently internally testing called Unzen VPN. And we also have a bridge that we've also created for our community, and as well as other solutions that we are about to announce.
Good deal. Good deal. So currently you have an ID, a VPN, a bridge. It's infrastructure as a service. Okay, so let's just get right into it. I'm getting a few different questions here. Let me just pull myself up here. I'm getting a few different questions here, but we'll bring up something like this, right? Chucky Michael says, what are the advantages of users of the OGL platform's integration with StrongNode Edge Network? I'm not even sure what OGL is. Could you define that maybe?
So OGL is another project that we are working with a different team. And OGL is if StrongNode is the infrastructure, it's layer 0, layer 1 kind of model, then of course above that you need applications to run on it. And our first application that we want to introduce to the world is a metaverse. And because Web3 is kind of synonymous with metaverses, we wanted to actually be able to create our own metaverse. And it is designed by a great team, Carlos Bott and his team of merry men and women that are developing this great metaverse. And we are actually supporting the back end, whether if it's all the smart contracts and anything that's blockchain related. And with that, StrongNode runs in the background where the users of the application or the metaverse can actually earn StrongNode tokens, mainly just by having it installed and running in the background. So what we want to strive for, at least on the OGL side, is there will be a usage for Unzen VPN where all the communication is all encrypted and it's all node-based. And with that in mind, people can be an exit node for anyone around the world, and hence being able to provide security and privacy for all the users using the platform. So instead of where Facebook's Meta is trying to get your privacy and be able to monetize on that, instead we are saying no, and we want to encrypt and be anonymous and have everyone anonymous and be who they want to be. And but of course, we do have a building block, which is StrongNode ID, which is a KYC server. So, I mean, at one point, we do know who you are, but you're anonymous to the system. But if anything, StrongNode ID is more like a global passport. And this passport will allow you to enter buildings, whether if you're over 21, you can enter certain buildings or be able to see certain advertisements. And based off of your profile and the StrongNode ID, this will allow you to be able to access certain areas within the said metaverse, whether if it's gambling to set ads of watching alcohol ads or smoking ads or something of that nature. Not that we'll have those, but the thing is that we can be able to tailor your advertising to that, specifically on age, region, and location.
Good deal. Yeah, so we jumped a little bit into the weeds, but basically you're saying that people are building applications such as a metaverse, and you want to encrypt that. And unlike Facebook, who's centralized and absorbing all of that data, you're creating a passport, like, which is the ID and your security, to make sure that we keep that anonymity. Could I ask you something, maybe a bigger question? This seems to be obviously an important value to yourself and to StrongNode. So could you talk to me about the value of, like, why do you have a high level of value ascribed to security and anonymity? What's the problem, and why do you hold to that value?
Well, the blockchain, or in crypto in general, it's cryptic by design and from the DNA of it. We're all, everyone who generates a 0x type of wallet, hexadecimal wallet address, it's anonymous by design, and we want to embrace that. And I don't want to know who you are or what you do. I just need to know, at one given point in time, if you do anything malicious, at least we can know how to do access controls to limit your malicious activity in that sense. If anything, it's more safeguarding for the network and the other community members in that sense. And so this is in mind. It's similar to how you would log into your computer with a username and password. And so this is a network where you can have access of a significant amount of computing power and network resources. And with that power, we need to make sure that no one abuses it in that sense. And so that's why we have a KYC solution. And given that KYC is now prevalent, and with the travel rule of all the wallets need to be kind of like, for example, in Japan, when you want to send Bitcoin to X to Y to Z, you need to at least know who you're sending it to. You have to state who you're sending it to. The other party has to also, in order to receive it, has to state that they are that individual, and what exchange you're sending it to, if it is an exchange or if it's a personal wallet. In this sense, we actually extend this and make it frictionless, where this travel rule, we are actually in compliance before it goes worldwide. Whether it's like EU just recently announced this, Japan is enforced. And before you know it, I'm sure American regulatory aspects will also catch up on this travel rule of being able to tag all the wallets and be able to make sure that you are who you are and that this transaction is valid, because there is enough malicious users out there that warrants this need, and we wanted to be able to provide that.
Yeah, I agreed. Yeah, so you're saying basically crypto is done anonymously by design, and you want to embrace that, creating a more frictionless ability to transfer funds, and all the different transactions. And you want to bring it to compliance and regulatory efforts with the countries that you're working with, such as Japan and the United States.
So if you were to bring in it from this analogy, if Airbnb is a hotel without any hotel rooms, and let's say Uber is a taxi company without any vehicles, we are a computing company without any computers in that sense. And with that, we want to be able to build the supercomputer on this network, and powered by StrongNode in that sense. And so, and to finalize that question on how will it affect OGL, not only does it offer that privacy and security layer on top of it, but it also provides we actually go down to the TCP level, the network stack, and be able to prioritize certain package that will prioritize the gaming packets. And so you can actually have a more seamless, frictionless, and low latency network connection to the game servers.
Good deal. Yeah, I thought that was really beautiful, actually, what you said. Like, we're a computer company without computers, which is, I'm like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Taylor, piggybacking off of this this idea or this theme of security, my fam asked this question here. Nowadays, many projects are being hacked. Do you have any plans to protect SNE and its users?
Yeah. So all our security, our smart contracts are actually audited by third party. And that's also, our infrastructure is also constantly audited by third party. So we actually work with a lot of the security vulnerability assessment companies. One of them being my former employer. During my SQL, the CEO is currently working at a fairly large security company, and we have a partnership there where they make sure that they keep our servers safe. And not only that, our head of infrastructure, Zavago, who I've known since middle school, he is the DevOps king in Silicon Valley, and he has secured many of these servers and whatnot. So I mean, fundamentally out of the box, we're pretty secure, but we also need third-party assessments to be able to make sure and to certify our servers. And like most specifically, let's take the bridge, for example. The bridge is audited, certified by Certec, as well as audited by third party. Then we went to the extra steps to also insure the bridge. And before we release it, we wanted to make sure that the insurance is also there, so no funds can, if in event that the security layer is broken, we can at least have an insurance policy to make sure that it is that the funds can be regained in that sense.
Good deal. Good deal. Yeah, and it's good that you've known the guy for for so long. I don't know many people from I've known since middle school. That's pretty funny.
Right. And it's all the combination of all the contacts and contexts of who we've worked with or who we've known in the past. So the former CEO is Martin Ricos, and he's currently working and CEO of HackerOne, and which is a vulnerability assessment company. And the idea is to make sure our servers are secure.
Well, in line with long-standing partnerships and relationships here, there's another question I'd like to bring up. This one's a fun one. I'm regularly following StrongNode, and I found that this is your 4th AMA with Gains. Could you tell us more of your views with the partnership with Gains? So be as harsh as you want. It's all good. You can't hurt my feelings here.
Well, Gains, we've always, we've had a up and down relationship, but overall, the thing is that it's basically being in front of all the investors and reporting to you what our accomplishments and what we're working on and how we're going to market, and us being on this channel and on this YouTube today is mainly because we want to convey to the Gains associates or every investors in this group that we are working and we are constantly having AMAs. Like we have AMAs every day now, and our team is handling AMAs, and I'm doing AMAs constantly, whether if it's on Telegram or such as this YouTube. And the idea is that we always want to communicate to our investor base as well as future investors, because there are projects that just do AMAs or just constantly shield their tokens, but we're not that way. We want to shield the technology behind it and the people around our solutions. Mm-hmm. And with this, to be able to get in front of Gains and address the community, and because it's all about community building in Web3, and we want to embrace the Gains community to be one of ours community as well, and in order to get and broach your user base, and you guys are investors, and we have the fiduciary duty to make sure that we inform you of what our accomplishments and what we're working on.
Yeah, and it's been a great partnership, at least for me, Daniel. I'm super grateful to be speaking with you guys. If you were watching so far, we'd love for you to hit the like button on this video, hit subscribe if you haven't already, and check out StrongNode down in the description below. That is I believe strongnode.io. It's right here on my screen right here. Boop. And so if you see that, strongnode.io, make sure you check their information out. Now, continuing on with the technology of what you said, I have this question here. I thought this was really interesting, and it gives us a chance to really showcase some of the technology. You've built the StrongNode Bridge. I want to know more about your bridge. We've seen cross-chain bridge can be compromised. How do you see this?
So yeah, like I addressed previously, like a few minutes back, the bridge is where most of the transactions happen, and whether if it's moving from one chain to another, a lot of the capital is usually stuck at a bridge, and we want to make sure that this bridge is secure. Like all infrastructures, as we saw in Ukraine, they're targeted, whether they're bridges, and specifically bridges in that sense. In this sense, a bridge or the crypto world is basically a bridge between chains. And when you have a bridge between chains, we have to make sure it's secure. And there's a lot of capital that goes in and out through this. And with that, we actually make sure that the security is paramount, and it is audited and it's certified and it's then checked again. And after it's checked, we make sure it's insured, and it's insured by third party. And if your funds are SAFU, and when the bridge is operational in that sense.
Yeah, I wanted to also come back to one of those ideas, like the regulatory principles of it. The state of the market right now, I think, as everyone knows, is in this bear market trend. And one of the things that I've seen big, I guess, investors, someone like Kevin O'Leary, Dave Mercer, is that they're really looking forward towards regulation really taking main stage, SEC, CFTC, and allowing big investors to come in, and that'll like turn around this whole bear market. What are your thoughts on the market right now? Especially where does StrongNode sit in with that, and how do you plan to pivot with the market or not pivot with it? What are your plans with the market with StrongNode?
Well, we're in a unique position where I myself am located in Japan, where cryptocurrency, or at least Bitcoin for that matter, is considered a currency. And it's actually, you can use it in storefronts and pay for services or items in that sense. And therefore, regulation is actually pretty forward thinking in that sense. And so with that, whether if it's the travel rule or if it's compliance, we want to make sure that we are always ahead of that curve before it goes mainstream. We want to be ready for large enterprise grade blockchain implementation in that sense. And so because in order to work with enterprises, we need to set that level of enterprise level trust and security in that sense, and be able to provide that. And doing so, this is probably going to be one of the projects that enterprises will look at and see whether if it is something that they can use, and be rest assured that their corporate assets can be on this and be able to process data or hold in StrongNode tokens in that sense.
Got it. Okay. Just for fun, where do you think the market is going, and when do you think it's gonna? What do you think it's gonna do here?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of macro events that's going on as well. I think there's a lot of skepticism saying that Bitcoin's going to drop down to 12,000 or down to the 10,000 area. It's hard to say, but there's a significant amount of wallet holders for Bitcoin. I mean, the circulation on Bitcoin is fairly large, as everyone knows, and everyone holds at least a fractional amount of Bitcoin. Whether if it's the amount of wallets that actually hold one Bitcoin has increased since the last bull run versus current date now. And so we've seen adoption from not only retail investors, but institutionals as well. And so I think you're going to see a lot more adoption in other forms. And as long as the option traders don't ruin it all.
Yeah. Well, I think as everyone knows, Bitcoin really maintains and is the guiding force of all crypto. So it's always important to be looking at that. One thing that was interesting from a question here I want to bring up is I want to know what makes StrongNode stand out. This is kind of like a general question. What makes it different from other PSP that might be similar? And also, what's your maximum potential? I'm not sure about that question. And could you, I'm a lizard brain. What's a PSP here? So maybe define that kind of stuff.
I don't know what this individual is referring to in regards to PSP.
Okay.
But I guess how we want to stand out is that we want to be more of an enterprise player, be able to make it for more commercial use cases. And we are working on a lot of partnerships that are about slated to be announced, whether if it's other blockchain projects or whether if it's just companies that want to just have low cost computing, or even for that matter, we want to be able to come up with security or be able to provide VPN for everyone and privacy for everyone at a very, very low cost. If you're an exit node, you should be able to use our network for very cheap and be able to have privacy as a default setting. Because for example, if you take Web 2.0, the very beginnings of Web 2.0, the aspect of HTTP was prevalent, and where all the connections were all unsecure, and not a lot of people had HTTPS, which is secure HTTP. And now at the end of Web 2.0, it was mandatory that and all the browsers only accepted HTTPS queries only at the browser, on the top bar of the browser. And they've made sure that all the websites now do have that nice little golden lock on the left side to show that the connection is secure. Now that is something that we want to have Web3 out of the box. Everything's secure, encrypted, and it's you and the service. And there can be intermediaries eavesdropping in that sense. And we want to make sure that it's private. And so with that in mind, if we have that privacy as a layer and we have value-added services on top of that, I'm sure the value will then be concentrated. But we also know that the design of StrongNode and ID as well as Unzen VPN, it's very passive. You log in, you install it, and you just have it running in the background. But we wanted to add an extra level and layer to it. That's why there's a delay in the release of our product, because we wanted to add it so the users are more interactive and more active. Because in this world, it's not about, because if you read in the recent articles, like Decentraland only has an active users of maybe 60 to 200 users at any given point in time, and that is a problem for any metaverses.
I saw that.
Right? So if we are going to actually be able to go on the hype train and grow our metaverse, we need constant daily active users and monthly active users. So these are some public metrics that advertisers look at, as well as the public consensus looks at in regards to whether your app or your metaverse is successful. Even Mark Zuckerberg also has problems in getting users to use it, even their staff for that matter, to use it. So what we are working on internally is we're working on a mechanical Turk, where it actually gives you daily tasks, whether if it's health and wellness, all the way down to doing digital tasks, saying, let's say for this YouTube feed, if you want, a person to look at your YouTube, we can make sure that you could stake your StrongNode, and you can have people drill down on that stake and be able to watch the video, and you can actually use it to drive traffic to your chat.
Yeah, I saw that. That was kind of, I'm not sure if that's fake news or real news. I'm not sure. Like the daily active users for metaverses was kind of surprising, actually. So
right,
curious to see that. Yeah.
With Decentraland, they came out with a rebuttal saying, how many times that the smart contract was touched and whatnot, and they did a breakdown analysis. And if you look and dig deeper, yes, there is a lot more activity, but the front facing of how many times do they actually open the application and the page views and the actual concurrent active viewers and is very low. And we want to actually choose to solve that problem, and StrongNode also helps in that aspect.
Yeah, the daily task is something interesting too. Like that's something. I mean, I play like video games on my phone. They want me to like do something daily on these things, so that makes a lot of sense, especially if you want to make money.
And if I have your attention, you should probably get paid for that. And
yeah,
we're
absolutely.
looking at the economics for that in that sense.
Absolutely. So, speaking of getting paid and being involved in this whole community, this was a simple question, but I think it's important, right? Where can I buy your tokens now? And what are your contracts address, and how can I buy them, and what are benefits, and maybe even release dates and all that kind of stuff. Go into that.
All right. So our contract is openly available on Polygon Scan. You can check it out, or you can go to CoinGecko and find out where our contract lives. We're also on various exchanges. We're on DigitFinex, we're on LA Token, and we're on a decentralized exchange called QuickSwap. So you can get it there.
Good deal. QuickSwap is something that I use all the time, especially I try to stay off centralized exchanges personally. So.
Yeah, well, yeah. But that's because some centralized exchanges require you to, they're dodgy, and like we had an exchange listing that I admit they went sideways when our StrongNode token was released, and that was MEXC, and you couldn't actually buy the token when it got listed, and it really hindered our progress, and we've had a very sour relationship with that. So right now we're going to be delisting ourselves off of MEXC because they're just not we don't have enough, they don't have enough traffic, and they're not very cooperative in that sense. And so with that, we're going to be delisting out of MEXC, but we're adding other exchanges.
Centralized exchanges help for a lot like buying power and stuff too. People can, more accessible of it. But needless to say, one thing that was an interesting question here that I didn't know of, Frank asks, I see that you have your application in medical industry as well. Can you tell me how that works, and maybe just go into that?
So in the medical aspects, medical requires a lot of data processing, and the cost of, why your medical bill is so expensive is that there's a lot of things that happen, in the sausage factory that costs a lot of money. in that sense. So for example, let's say, $150 to do a COVID test. That's a lot of money, but there's a reason and rationale for that. And not only is it cost for the actual manpower to actually do the, taking your spit and then putting it in a small vial and being able to get it into a sequencer to make sure that it finds tags, and then processing that sequencer through a workflow to identify these certain tags, whether you have COVID or not, does cost money. And whether if they're using raw computing from AWS or from third-party cloud providers, it's not getting any cheaper with all the supply chain issues in Silicon and in general, and with inflation and all the macroeconomic trends. If anything, compute is getting only expensive, and therefore we found the solution that most of the computes are at the last mile, hence the edge. And we want to be able to take those latent resources that normally would just go not used, and instead you get a nice screensaver. We want to be able to borrow those resources and be able to process and resell those cycles to these medical industries, and be able to then so they can have an alternate ways to actually help reduce those costs in sequencing these data.
Okay, good deal. Yeah, I didn't even know that you guys were helping out in that way with medical industry. So that's awesome to hear.
Well, not only that, we actually have, well, at least on the OGL side, we actually have some advisors that are neuroscientists that actually want to see the effects of social in that sense, because there hasn't been any studies in regards to the effects of socials, of how does it adhere to people's personalities. And with recent lockdowns of COVID and whatnot, of course now we're out, but it had a mental effect, and their mental is a big issue, and we wanted to be able to apply these tasks. So well, if it's health and wellness, the idea is it's not good to be sitting in front of your PC all day long and looking at the price of Bitcoin going up and down. And so it just reminds
Believe me, it's not good. It's not good for me.
So the idea is that we wanted to be able to create these tasks and be able to just insight kind of the idea of health and wellness, and kind of have people monetize, similar to how Sweatcoin did it, in that sense of walk and be able to earn tokens in that sense. But we are incorporating the same gamifications in that sense of where it accesses your pedometer on your mobile phone or your iOS, your watch, your digital devices, and be able to then record that, and then be able to register how much exercise you've done, to make sure that that your mental health is of value, and be able to not only be able to get through your day using a computer, but also be mindful of your day-to-day life and your health.
Now, I'm sorry, I think I missed it, but was it that you were partnered with someone doing that, or were you guys doing that yourself, developing that yourself?
Well, we actually have neuroscientists that are advisors that are working with doctors, that helps us make that framework for mental health and awareness, and being able to build this. I initially came with that idea when we were Animal Crossing with my kids, and how in Animal Crossing you can have that exercise little thing where they actually go out in the field and they do that the exercise with the whole group. And that's actually a thing in Japan, where if you're in a Japanese company, the first thing that the Japanese companies do, in a sense of a stand-up, they all stand up and they have this song running in the background. You do this calisthenic exercises.
Amazing.
Yeah, they do tables, and then that's the way that they start the day. And the way that we want to incorporate that is be able to make sure that every few hours that you stand up, you do your exercises or drink water, exactly, and be able to do that, and be able to show that you're alive, and it's a proof of life in that sense. And so we want to make sure that we only have humans on our network, and if you are doing these tasks and you prove that you're human, you should get paid.
Oh, yeah, I think you should, but that's interesting. Now, I had a quick question. Do you think most of your community, is it based in Japan or around the world, pretty distributed evenly, or America?
I would say a lot of our user base is in emerging markets, I would say. Vietnam, India, the place where it got hit really hard economically, mainly because they're looking for ways to supplement their income. Because to them, $20 has a larger buying power than, let's say, LA or New York.
Yeah. Yeah.
And therefore, $20 can pay for a complete internet fee in like Romania versus, you only can buy a burrito in New York.
In the Philippines, that's where my family's from. The peso was 40 pesos to $1 before COVID. Now it's like 60 pesos to $1, and that's a lot. That's a big jump. So how do I get started, right? If I'm someone in the Philippines, someone in Thailand, and I want to start with Strong, is all this available? Can I run something? Like, what can I do?
So you could start right now by going to id.strongnode.io.
Let's try. Let me see this. I think this would be good. IE.strongnode.
ID.
Oh, ID.
Yes.
Node.
.io.
Okay.
And this is just put in your email and get started. That's how simple it is.
Everyone now has my email. Please don't send me. Please don't send me.
Yeah, no, yeah.
It's okay. I love the gains community. It's all good. We're good here. All right, and so this email comes to my inbox.
Yeah. And then it goes through the process like any other two-factor. You probably want to do this later because you don't want to, give too much of your personal information.
Yeah. But I want to show people as far as I can. Okay. So, all right. And so this is what happens. You put in your username, first name, last name, click the terms and conditions, and then just confirm. And you just go down the register here, right?
And then basically you're part of the StrongNode network at that point.
Okay.
It's pretty straightforward.
That was pretty easy. I couldn't find how to start here. I was kind of looking around. So it's
right.
ID.
We'll be putting the link in there shortly in that sense because it's only for it's early release still. And,
got it. Okay.
We're still coding it up in the back end as well, but the whole KYC process works and it's pretty seamless and frictionless and painless in that sense. And it's
that was pretty easy. I mean, all it just took was id.strongnode.io. One thing that was just super interesting, I can't find the question anymore, but I'm just going to kind of repeat it. Was that, hey, look, when you're talking about this calisthenics stuff, proving that you're human, going to medical, it showed a lot of innovation, and I would like you to kind of expand on the innovation labs, what that is, and what you seek to accomplish there, and how it's adding to the whole ecosystem.
Well, the thing is that with lessons learned in the whole Web 1.0 and 2.0 is that if anything that we learned painfully was that it was Web 2.0 was driven by a lot of centralized base implementations and mostly eventually by greed. And look at Facebook, Google, and Apple. I mean, those are great companies and they're innovating constantly at the same time, but they did it at the risk of your privacy and at the cost of your privacy in that sense. And we wanted to change that narrative. I think we wanted to change this whole paradigm where your resources, whether if it's your time, your compute, or your network, or something that you own, and if you want to be able to repurpose it for others to use, that is kind of the model. And Web3 is based off of community, and community is only driven by good in that sense. And if you can amass enough good, you can get enough users in that sense. So we believe in a principle of making sure that Web3 is synonymous with kind of an ESG angles, where it's sustainable in the sense that that if you do good, that more people will believe in the solution of what you're trying to kind of the ethos of what you're trying to shoot for in that sense. And so whether if it's being able to make sure that you're healthy, that's important to us, because if you're healthy, you'll be around longer, and you can be an active StrongNode user or an OGL user for that matter. We believe in a proper sustainable goal and being able to put SDG into the forefront of Web3, where it's not about greed, it's about it's about the ownership, and everyone can be a part of Web3 as long as they can own a part of it. And whether if they own and resources, whether if it's their own time, whether if it's their own computes or their network bandwidth, they have a fighting chance to make something with that said time or resource.
That's cool. Okay. So one thing that was interesting for me to pull up here, let me just bring it up. Scream asked this question. In Twitter, I also read about the Die Hard NFTs. Could you please tell us more about those Die Hard NFTs and how can we get those and what the role is and all that?
So Die Hard Birdie NFT is what it is. It was just actually, I think they're being airdropped as we speak right now. And if you haven't registered now, I recommend you going to the OGL Twitter or OGL Telegram and find out how you can earn these NFTs. And these NFTs are released, and this is to commemorate our brand ambassador, Die Hard Birdie. Die Hard Birdie is a 80-year-old esports champion, and it's known Guinness World Record. He actually owns that, in that he's the oldest CS:GO player, and that's actually won on, I mean, he could kick my butt. And
more power to him.
Right? But the thing is that, there's an Amazon documentary, there's a Netflix documentary that's coming out as well on him, and it's actually also, he has an agent, William Morris Agency is also repping him as well. And the thing is that he's not only getting a lot of endorsement deals for now, but the thing is that he's a champion in his own right. But basically, because his age, and he was able to, COVID hit us all in one different ways, and if anything, he was able to use gaming as a medium to communicate with his families and find new friends and build new friends, and be able to highlight his experiences and whatnot. And with that, we wanted to commemorate this and issue an NFT around it. And he is an 80-year-old CS:GO champion, registered in Guinness World. And the thing is that he's kind of our inspiration of kind of being able to do that wellness and health and wellness, and being able to show that people can play games no matter how old you are, and be able to be interactive. Like my mom, plays games too, and she's 83, and she
What
also
game does she play?
She plays mahjong.
Boom! Does she bet? I bet she makes a lot.
But she enjoys it. And this is how she communicates with her friends and networks, and she uses Facebook and whatnot. So it's technology that allows even senior citizens to even communicate to other senior citizens. So we don't want to isolate it to just young gamers to have all this fun, because I think gaming is for all ages, and for everyone to enjoy.
She better bet that SNE token and be betting those in mahjong. Okay, so I want to wrap up here, but guys, if you guys are interested in StrongNode and you guys are looking forward to what they have to roll out in the future, please check out the links down in the description down below. Check out StrongNode, and for the NFTs, what was it? What Twitter was it that they had to check out?
They can go to Die Hard Birdie,
Okay.
or they can go to the OGL.
That's the one, OGL.
Yes.
Good deal. Guys, and check out, of course, strongnode.io. I would recommend id.strongnode.io. Check it out and sign up there. Daniel, I'm going to give you the last word here. What's the last thing what's the next best thing for StrongNode? What are you so excited about? What's something that we could look forward to in the future?
So one thing the tech side is pretty much covered with Colin. He's doing a great job. You'll see another dev diary come out perhaps this week they're mostly done every 2 weeks, and they're released on a 2-week basis of kind of what's going on behind the scenes in engineering. But additionally, what's really, really cool recently is that we're going full steam ahead with a lot of the business development aspects, and you're going to see some partnerships coming out around this, and you'll see major news and press releases with other blockchain projects. And I want to announce it here, but hey, I want to make sure that we're all on the same page with the announcement. So just stay tuned, because there will be some pretty cool announcements in regards to sports.
Come on, you're so vague and mysterious. People want to know what's okay. What's something that you can say? Have we covered everything? Have we covered everything that you wanted to cover? But you gotta keep it secret.
There's the development for StrongNode is progressing very well and rapidly. We're always looking for great engineers. So if you are a systems level engineer or even a Solidity coder, we're always looking for good coders from around the world. And we're always looking for great talent, not only in engineering, but marketing or even for business. We've made great partnerships with great people around the world, and it takes safety in numbers to help grow a business and to hire the best of the best of talent. And luckily, we're in this great position where we can hire the great talents, and we're fortunate in that sense.
Awesome.
So in the bear market, we constantly develop.
In the bear market, we build, and we love hearing that from projects, especially great ones like yours, especially great teams. So if you guys want to be part of an awesome team, and you're, you could contribute as far as that goes, please reach out to Daniel and reach out to the StrongNode team. Guys, thanks so much for being and hanging out in the chat today. Daniel, thank you so much for another awesome interview. I really appreciate your time. Be sure to check out strongnode.io. Awesome. Yeah, Daniel, do you have anything left to say? Other than that, we're out.
I invited a few of my friends on this YouTube feed as well. So as well as like our YouTube is getting a lot of views right now as well. So also follow and subscribe us as well. And
okay, good deal.
And Tokyo Labs or OG Original Gamer Life. Just search for it and just subscribe and follow the content. We're monetizing on all of them, and hopefully that we've also given you some of our audience so they can find out more about your projects as well.
Yeah, I want to hop on your channel. We could do like collabs and stuff like that. Maybe play games and stuff like that. It'd be fun.
Yeah, we're all down for that, Aaron. So come on and play some games with us. Maybe you could play CS:GO with Die Hard Birdie.
Yeah, right. I get cream. Yeah. I'm like one of these guys.
But yeah, you'll probably get sniped, but yeah.
Yeah, 100% will. Guys, thank you so much for watching, especially on the StrongNode YouTube channel, everyone on the Gains community channel, anyone on my channel. Guys, thank you so much. We'll see you guys in the next stream. See ya.